Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. We're streaming live simultaneously. Technology, baby. In 3 different places. The Heavy on Jets Facebook page, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, and of course on the Twitter sphere at well. Appreciate all the support. And it's time to get a good old buddy of mine. It's been a hot second, but it's long overdue. So let's bring him in. He is, the face that runs the place. He is the guy that people talk about. Ethan Greenberg, New York Jets team reporter, coming to us live from the Jets facilities. Beautiful. Ethan, what's up, brother?
Wow. I appreciate the welcome in there. That was one of your best ones. I appreciate that.
Wow. Well, thank you. First off, beard game. We've been noticing it. What went into it? How long have you been growing that thing? And are you going to keep it? Are you going to keep it on?
Yeah, great questions. To answer your last one first, I think it's here to stay.
Excellent.
I think it's here to stay. And the only other time that I grew a beard was probably in the pandemic, just because I wanted to see what would happen. So, and I was like, you know what? I didn't really feel like it was me. Then I will say one of the employees here, and he has been on me for years about growing out a beard. And it's our team photographer, Dan Spakowski. He was like, you got to do it. And I was like, nah,
awesome.
I don't think so. You got to do it. No, I don't think so. Then I did it. A lot of people were like, wow, I think this looks good. Then it became a joke that it was like a Rodgers beard or a quarterback beard.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're still here. And Tyler Conklin, very much in the beard game, really sent me to Mars, because maybe not to Mars, but the other day, players came back a couple weeks ago. He saw me in the cafeteria and was like, whoa, okay. And I was like, wow, that's coming from Tyler Conklin. I think I need to keep the beard. So this is where we stand. I think it's here.
That's beautiful. I will say I got a similar stamp of approval. We were comparing beard games. It was a couple weeks ago. It was during the off season. It was somewhere in there. And me and Conk I was trying to get some beard advice for what he used for that thing. And
but you guys are on like a different level, because you have the thickness. I'm keeping it like clean enough that it's not going to get crazy on me. But one day maybe it will get crazy on me.
Well, I hope you're open to that, Ethan. And I will say, so people could see it on the background here beyond our faces. They could see the little Boy Green thing in the background. And I'm going to be honest, Ethan, I was like, finally, me and Ethan are going to connect. We're going to see each other for the first time. Unfortunately, I think actually you guys were out at the Combine when that happened, but I got to go to the Jet facilities. Very nice behind the scenes. Dan, Will, all those wonderful people back there, Seth and everybody. So it was awesome. So we're still going to have to check that one off the bucket list. But nonetheless, man, it was great to see the place. Very nice. I like what you've done with the place. I'm going to be honest.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a big hand in it. Big hand in the place.
So let me ask you, man. I mean, and it's kind of good, quite frankly, that this, again, I would love to talk to you anytime, but it's great that this has been delayed, because I know the position that you guys are in as team employees. Like, you can kind of comment on rumors, but like, hey, that's what this person said. I can't really say. You guys got to kind of wait till it's official. Well, baby, it's freaking official. Aaron Rodgers is a member of the New York Jets. And as we tweet out clips and Woody Johnson is sharing stuff and everything, and then I share a clip, I still get several comments on these tweets and videos and everything like, oh my goodness, this is real. That is Aaron Rodgers. Like, Ethan, has it hit you guys? You guys did the Jets Overtime show, which was a lot of fun with Caroline and EA and everybody. And you guys were interviewing Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett and so many others. Like, has it hit? When is it going to hit? Like, Aaron Rodgers is a Jet.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, for me, and we were talking about this the other day, what kind of hit me was the ovation at Madison Square Garden at the Rangers game. Like, that's something that you'd like, because you see the clips and you're like, wow, like, this is really happening. But for me personally, like, I'm not out there watching practice at this time of year. And to hear the kind of response of New York Rangers fans and everyone in attendance at the Garden, the world's most famous arena, to have that kind of reaction for the quarterback of the New York Jets, I think speaks volumes. So that was really something where I was like, okay, like, this is real. I think the short answer is it hasn't really hit me yet. I think there's 2 times when it could hit me. A random day in training camp, like when the pads are on, when you're like, oh my God, like, this is like, this is actually happening, or the first home opener, or like the first regular season game at MetLife Stadium when the Jets do their announcements. In my mind, in my little world, it'll hit me when the offense gets called out one by one and the last player is number 8.
Yeah.
So those to me are like the two things. If I were a betting man, like if I'm putting odds on something, which I'm not, but if I were putting odds on it, it'd be one of those two, but it could be something totally random as well.
Yeah, one outside one, because we've heard a lot of great nuggets. Peter King also joining EA on the Official Jets podcast a while back. I think that was the NFL owners meetings. And he's written about this in a lot of his columns, that the Jets are going to get a lot of these primetime games, the latest of which Peter King said this week is his prediction is the Jets will either be playing on Sunday or Monday Night Football. And to me, the Sunday Night Football, when you go through the starting lineups of like Ethan Greenberg, Syracuse, like when you get Aaron Rodgers, Cal, I'm going to be like, okay, wow. And then running out the lights, like that's when, to me, I think maybe that's when it's just going to kind of all the emotions kind of boil over. But again, that's probably just a random prediction with everything going on. But it just, again, it feels like the energy is palpable, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that not only from Aaron Rodgers, but also in the brief time that I've spoken with Nathaniel Hackett, like that is someone who has legitimate juice. Another Syracuse guy. Perhaps coincidentally, perhaps not, Paul. What do you think about that?
That's right. Which, by the way, I have to tell you, I know we had EA on my radio show, draft. Amazing. It was awesome to catch up with everybody. But EA did say that the buzz, as my radio partner was trying to ask him, there's some buzz for Matthew Bergeron. Boy Green's been pounding the table for me. He's like, well, I've been hearing the buzz inside the building. Ethan Greenberg has been trying to get some of his Syracuse guys loved. So, okay, so you were the source of that, I hear. Yeah.
Yes. Well, of course, Paul, as you know, Syracuse football over the past couple of years, nothing really to write home about. So you're telling me there's a potential second-round pick and Matt Bergeron, and like before the draft, no one really knew where Garrett Williams was going to end up because of the ACL injury. The fact that Garrett Williams is a third-round pick is incredible. So, and I think he's a very good player, especially for Syracuse football. But to have legitimate prospects be talked about, like hearing Daniel Jeremiah on NFL Network talk about the Syracuse left tackle was like, this is really nice for the Syracuse program and for me, who's a Syracuse alum. So that was cool.
Sure.
Garrett Williams, same thing, just because it hasn't really happened that way in the past. And if you had asked me who would that player have been, if you asked me this time last year, I would have thought it was Sean Tucker. It ends up,
me too.
Obviously not being Sean Tucker. But, I'm going to take any little wins that I can with Syracuse football while I can.
And that's a good place to be. Again, Garrett Williams ends up being the 9th pick of the 3rd round, and that's with the torn ACL. So you can only imagine, naturally, if that doesn't happen, how much higher he would have been. So great for Syracuse to be in the conversation again, at least as it pertains to the NFL draft. Ethan, you guys have been doing great work, obviously, there in-house with all the interviews with all the Jets players. Sitkoff behind the scenes. I saw he tweeted out the picture of all the screenshots because you guys do all these interviews, and these players are in crazy places, right? They're at their homes or wherever. As you're interviewing these guys, and I saw the screenshots. Is there something that stood out as you're interviewing these guys? You kind of learned something, or something stood out to you about one of the Jets draft picks that you guys have had the pleasure of speaking with early on here?
About them as a person, you mean?
Yeah, whatever. Like, obviously, you have, I saw Joe Douglas going the Wisconsin waterfall. He was loving that with Tippmann. Awesome. The cowboy hat look is getting some, viral nature on social media. So maybe it's a quirky thing about their personality. Maybe it's something football-wise you learned. Yeah, sure. Whatever you'd like.
The Jets account tweeted it, so it's not like it's breaking news. I asked Carter Warren, the 4th-round pick out of Pitt, who is a New Jersey native, if when he saw the phone number, if he thought it was a spam call. Because as someone who works in New Jersey, you get a lot of spam calls, and some of them are New Jersey numbers. So I was curious, like, did you kind of think it was maybe like a spam call, or did you have a good feeling it was the Jets? And he thought at first it was spam, because why would you not, right? Like,
yeah, right.
And so I thought that was fun. Izzy Abanaconda doing everything he did. Like, he had a draft party at his high school, Abraham Lincoln High School in Brooklyn, New York. Shout out Brooklyn. That's awesome. I also found out that his favorite pizza place in the city, like in Brooklyn, is a Dollar Slice, like near his home. So I respect that. Big respect for that. Because obviously if you're coming to the New York area, whether that's Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, or Staten Island, you're going to hear a lot. Right, you're going to hear a lot of pizza suggestions. You go on the website or on the internet, you Google what you want, you're going to see a lot, right?
Yeah.
John's on Bleecker, this, that, the third. Izzy's like, I just like my dollar slice, okay? And I respect that a lot.
Yeah, that's one for me. I do. I can respect the simplicity here. Ethan, what are you heading into? Season 6, season 7, season 8? You're somewhere in that range.
Season 8.
Ooh, okay.
And
So
as I said that out loud, I just realized that there might be some kind of symbiotic something with the quarterback of the New York Jets, who is number 8.
There very well could be. By the way, a very hot ticket item. As soon as the trade was again agreed in principle on the Monday, official on the Wednesday with the press conference. I was refreshing the Jet shop, and all of a sudden, booyah! Aaron Rodgers, buy it now. I'm like, son of a! I jumped. I'm going to tell you, Ethan. Okay, so I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm hitting the refresh button. I'm like, I got to make sure I get my punch ticket in. It's almost like the concert thing. Hey, it opens up at 3:00. Make sure you're kind of in the waiting room.
Yeah.
So I'm hitting refresh. I get in there the second that it opens because I assumed that it was going to be right there. I hit it. Already sold out on a couple of things. I'm like, what in God's green earth? What the heck? What happened in here? So, yeah, so you have to be on the edge of your seat for all that A-Rod stuff.
What
Again,
color
he's going to be.
With?
It's a good question. So I immediately went, my gut said stealth black. So again, the Jets, of course, have their 3 beautiful jersey options: Gotham green, stealth black, spot white. So I went for the original stealth black. Boom, already sold out. I was like, that was quick. So then I'm about to go, well, I guess I'll go Gotham green. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second here. Scroll. And I see you guys had this custom Jet stealth black jersey, but the digits are green. And instead of, saying New York on the front, it said Jet. So I had a couple of quirky things, but I went, oh, baby, this is sexy. There's a sex appeal here. All right, booyah. This is what we're going with, and the sizes were available. So I got a large Aaron Rodgers jersey, pre-order. Boom, that should be here in the June-ish range. So booyah. Very nice.
Right.
Appreciate
well
it.
done.
Yeah.
Good execution. And good thing no one trusts you with their Taylor Swift concert tickets, because you would have been out of luck with your refresh skills.
100%. Yeah, I would have been SOL. There's no question about it. Ethan, I need the truth here on this, because if it's something I'm just noticing late, I'm a terrible friend. If it's something that just popped up, then okay, I can live with it a little more. So, Ethan, you've had a bit of a social media presence here. I've been noticing the quick videos on some of the Jet socials where you're giving us fun facts. The Hall of Fame stuff was pretty good. And then also on the gram, okay, the cooking on a week-to-week basis of splashing a little bit of that sizzle in there, and sometimes with spinning the food, a slap, a chop, a cut. There's a lot of action happening there. Ethan, how long has both the Jets official social media stuff happening and then your own, how long has that been a thing for you?
So the cooking, we'll go chronological order.
Okay.
The cooking segment for me, and that's really like, I'm the only one that posts that. Like, that's not really on Jets social media properties.
Right.
That started, the Jets played the Bengals week 3 last year, and that was a Sunday game, 1:00.
Yep.
That idea came to my mind either Friday night or Saturday morning. So I went out and bought everything for Skyline Chili. I made it Saturday. I was wicked tired, so I went to bed, woke up real early Sunday, edited the video, exported it, boom, boom, boom. And then I was like kind of behind the 8 ball throughout the season, because it's like, all right, like it takes a lot to edit the video, especially like with those little quick cuts and whatnot. So throughout the season, it was try to make it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, edit it Thursday, Friday, hopefully post by the weekend. This year, I'm hoping to be a lot better of a spot once the schedule comes out, because I can at least start to plan whatever. And I'm hoping to make it a little different this year. Still gonna cook, but also maybe add in some new wrinkles, perhaps. Do some food reviews of certain places. Living in New York City, you have access to fantastic restaurants. You have access to anything and everything you could imagine in the cuisine world. So for me, I feel like might as well try to figure something out, maybe do some food reviews. Now, as it pertains to the other videos that I got something for you, that's an off-season special. To me, it's like what you saw with the cooking was in season. The I got something for you was the genesis of it was in the off-season. So you really haven't been behind the 8 ball at all, Paul. So
excellent. That's good to hear.
You're very aware. I think I'm hoping that it goes throughout the course of the season, but I'm unsure what it'll look like throughout the course of the season. The off season, it's easy to figure it out because everything's a little more evergreen. You can pick and choose what you want. In season's always another animal, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Again, we're speaking with Ethan "Gosh darn" Greenberg here, baby. New York Jets team reporter here. We're streaming live in all these different places. Show your support, like the video. Hit subscribe down below, baby, for all this great New York Jets content. Ethan, can you give us the scoop here? Is there a chance for a rebirth? Is there a chance to bring back an old segment that fans were, a fan of? And remember, you and Kalechi did that thing a couple years ago when he was on the team. You were at those restaurants, you and players, so it's almost like your own cooking thing, but almost expanded a little bit with some player involvement. I know you said there's a couple of wrinkles coming up. Is there any chance to bring that one back? That was a favorite segment from a few years ago.
The off the clock segment is what you're referring to, and ironically, not all of them were food related. Like we did something with Avery Williamson in the batting cages.
Oh, right, that's true. Yeah,
and that we did something else. I'm trying to think of what, but there were Jamison Crowder bowling. Like there are a couple different examples. Some of them happen to be food related, like the one with Kalechi with Spencer Long back in the day, and Mike Pinnell again back in the day. That was a fun shoot. Anyway, could there be? There could be, but I will admittedly say it is more difficult. Like the benefit of having it just be me and having it be self-contained or not involving players is that players are so busy. So
that's
like
true.
to try to like work in a player schedule, there could be though. There could be, and I'm not going to close the door on that, but I don't want to give too much of a vote of confidence that I'm giving false hope. I'm going to political answer here. 50-50 shot. Would love to have it happen, but I'm not going to be guaranteeing it, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Well, you mentioned a 50-50 shot. That's probably the odds I gave you on each of those punt returns when you were working with Braxton Berrios when you did a similar
I think
video.
You're just trying to be nice to me.
That was fun too. So we'll see what other stuff could potentially come up here. Ethan, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to swahoodle you in this way, but I know the Jets have been very reserved on a team brass standpoint. So they get Aaron Rodgers, they're like, we got Aaron Rodgers, and Super Bowl, this that. They're like, one step at a time. We get Aaron Rodgers in your press conference. That Super Bowl III trophy looks pretty lonely over there. Again, Super Bowl expectations, Super Bowl or bust. He said, that's something I embrace. I'm Aaron friggin' Rodgers. Yes, you are, sir. So again, Ethan, are you willing to dabble in the waters? It's exciting times. We haven't been to the gosh darn playoffs in 12 years, baby. And all of a sudden we could go from zero to hero.
Yeah, I'm going to say it is. First of all, did you say the word swahoodle?
I did. Swahoodle. Yes, I did.
Swahoodle.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I heard that right. Very good usage. Great word.
Thank you.
Great job. Great execution. Well done. As it pertains to Aaron Rodgers, like if you're a Jets fan and you're not excited, you just kind of have to check yourself, right? Like these are exciting times to be a Jets fan. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say and dip my toe in the Super Bowl water or anything like that. I'm just day by day, Coach Saleh has ingrained in me day by day, brick by brick. We'll see it. We'll see what happens. But there's a long time between now and September, which would be week 1 of the NFL season. So for me, it's May. I'm taking it easy. As training camp gears up, I'll gear up. And look, I think it'll be a fun season for the New York Jets, right? I mean, like simply put, the personalities on board, the young players, a year older, the players coming back from injury. And then, of course, you add Aaron Rodgers there. That's like the cherry. It's not the cherry on top of the sundae because Aaron Rodgers is a huge piece of the Jets operation. But when you think about like everything that had been culminating over the past 2 years with all the talent of last year, offensive and defensive rookie of the year, to add someone like Aaron Rodgers to your pre-constructed sundae, that is the cherry.
Well, I asked this question at EA. I'll have to ask it differently for you because EA has been with the Jets forever. So he experienced both the Brett Favre, which was the 15 years ago, and him coming in a very different way, much later, obviously, in the offseason than in this case. But how can you describe your side of it when you find out that it's happening and you have to Caroline Hendershot, EA, everybody, you guys got to prepare for the fact, okay, we need to cover this, we need to execute this. I mentioned the Jets Overtime show, which was awesome, and again, so all the press conference stuff happens, and then you guys do another layer of it on your own. Can you walk us through some of the behind the scenes steps of hearing that Aaron Rodgers coming, and then how you guys are going to, in your best possible way, present that
Right.
the best possible way to Jet fans?
I think luckily the Pat McAfee show happened on March 15th. So
Yes.
when you're, first of all, when you're listening to that, one, you get excited. Two, the whole building here got excited watching Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee say that. But that between Pat McAfee on March 15th and the day that the trade was reportedly agreed upon,
40 days. Yep.
yeah, it was a long time. So we had a lot of ducks in a row. You're able to do stuff. You're able to record things. And I guess the only issue is like you didn't really know when it was going to happen. So
Right.
I'll give you an example. We have a TV show, CBS Saturday nights, and you know we're doing a draft we're doing a free agency preview show and free agency review. We have our free agency one taped, then we kind of have to tape one with a heavy Aaron Rodgers flair that never saw the light of day, but we didn't want to be SOL if
Wow.
the trade were to happen like at a certain point. Like we needed to have something ready. So that didn't happen. So it required a lot of front end work. And then it ends up being that actually the timing of the trade was probably pretty beneficial because all we did the live show, didn't have to coincide with our TV programming schedule. Now, this Saturday on CBS2, there will be an Aaron Rodgers draft show. So it'll be a little bit combination of both heavy Rodgers, a little bit of draft. But we had a lot of work that was done on the front end. Articles written, multiple videos made. So you're getting ready, just like not really knowing when to go. It's like Braveheart, like hold, like that's what it's like. And so you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. Then you get the go ahead. You're like, all right, here we go. Like we have this article ready. We have this video ready. Let's dial up these two people for a podcast. Boom, boom. We're gonna do this for a live show. Boom, 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 boom. So we had a lot of stuff. We were just waiting to actually put the plan in motion. So it was a long time coming, 40 days to your point. But had it happened like in the drop of a hat, and it was like, oh, boom, here you go, it would have been mayhem, and it would have been awesome.
100%. Well, let's turn the clock forward. Obviously, and Ethan, I think you've said this a few times throughout this conversation, like this is a pinnacle moment. This is big time. You don't always trade for a 4-time NFL MVP, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP for a future, Pro Football Hall of Fame gosh darn quarterback. So, it's a lot of pressure on you guys to make sure you deliver. You've got the creme de la creme. You guys tweeted this Aaron Rodgers video. It had like 1 million views. Aaron Rodgers eating a donut. Oh, let's get that over there. Like, so, there's like this immense pressure on you guys to, as you're throwing up this stuff, and I'm kind of leading into Flight 23. We got the trailer. We were talking about it a little off air. Ascension, that first episode coming. Seth telling us, Seth Bradley doing great work, that it's a 3-episode series coming up a little bit later here in the month of May. That, like, what other stuff do you? So you have that obviously coming up, and that has fans on the edge of their seat. What more do you have set up? Because I imagine it's a ton of planning now as we go from May to June to July to training camp, preseason, Hall of Fame game. There's so many big things coming for the Jets. How are you guys kind of setting it all up, knowing that Aaron Rodgers is in the fold?
Yeah, I think that our process doesn't really change. It's just, what can we dive into? What do you want to capitalize on? How do you strike while the iron's hot kind of deal, which that process is not changed. But with someone with the magnitude of Aaron Rodgers, just his name alone, like to your point, you post a video and it gets millions of impressions, views, whatever. That says something about people coming to your website, to your social channels. Like, we have a great team here at the Jets. And I'm not even talking about the football team. I'm talking about the content department, from the social team to the video production team in the back, to the reporters, to the live show crew. Like, every way that you skin this cat, we have a great team that I think have been waiting for this moment. And Aaron Rodgers, I think, has kind of provided, not him alone has provided a green light, but if assuming that you start to win more football games, all this talk nationally starts to kind of come to fruition throughout the course of the regular season, primetime games, it'll allow, I think, our department to take another step and to use to make this a Flight 22 pun to reach new heights. So,
I see.
yeah, you like that? Boom.
Yeah.
So I think we've been waiting for this moment a long time, and I don't quite know what's exactly in store. I'm sure there have been some early discussions, and I think that basically after the offseason program and as this time of year, people will start to develop that throughout the course of the year, or to like set up the regular season and training camp. But those conversations are going to come soon, and I can't guarantee much, but I can guarantee that Jets fans will be very pleased and excited about the content that's coming their way in 23.
All right, Ethan, only a couple more before we get you out of here. A tentpole event, although I'm not sure if even the NFL knew it was going to be as it's come out, is the schedule release. It is a thing. The schedule release shows that come out that night at 8 o'clock, the speculation of schedule guessing, primetime games, and the whole evaluation. Obviously, there is a great palpable buzz heading into this for the Jet schedule. How does it work for you guys? When do you guys get the schedule? When do we hear about it? Like, how big is that gap of time? Because obviously, you guys have done some cool stuff. The NFL Blitz one a couple years ago. Like, you have a creative way to kind of let the world know who the heck the Jets are playing and when they're playing them, and the season tickets and everything else that your guys are able to do with that. So give us the info there. What's the deets?
I think it varies team by team, I would imagine. And each team has their own process. But typically, I would say there's like a very small group of people who get the schedule. Like, it is truly like a need-to-know basis. Like, for example, let's use EA as the example. Let's say he writes the article of the schedule and, you know, the boom, 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 boom. Like, that is a need-to-know basis. Like, he needs to be able to do that. So 8 o'clock comes, there you go. And there are different people within the organization that are obviously on a need-to-know basis to create, whether that's content, whether that's some kind of marketing, whether that's something in the football side or public relations. Like, there are certain people within the building that are in that classified circle, and then they go throughout their day. And they're like, there have been years where, you know, especially early in my career, where I'm just hanging out. 8 o'clock comes around, and you're like, oh, okay, that's who we have in week one. Great. Okay. And there have been other times where I've seen things like slightly before, and things where I've gotten like tidbits, and then also like you start to see leaks throughout the NFL Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not the NFL's Twitter account, but different accounts throughout the league, like who cover, whether that be the Jets, whether that be the NFL as a whole, they'll start to put things out there that they hear. And then you're like, oh, I wonder if that's true. But then you never really know. So it varies, I would say. And there have been times where it's been 8 p.m. for me, and I'm just like, hey, like any other day, like, okay, we'll see who, like, you already know who the Jets are playing. It's just a question of when. But the biggest thing is this year for the Jets is it hasn't really been a thing of years past. How many primetime games? And you mentioned it with Peter King. That obviously is going to be something that piques, I think, my interest and a lot of fans' interest.
All right, Ethan, flex on us real quick. Are you one of those elite few in which you reference the need-to-know basis? Are you in that group, Ethan?
I'm going to say I am not in that group.
Okay. I think you're just saying that's a wink, but I got you, buddy. I got you.
I'm not in the group.
Let's talk about that primetime. I don't want to make you the official like prediction guy, because none of us know. We're all just kind of, even Peter King, as he said, he's even speculating about what he believes is going to happen with the Jets. So we're like, I mean, it's like automatic with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets and everything. Like, we're getting the primetime action right there, Ethan.
You would imagine, right? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of buzz around the Jets right now, and especially with the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, coming to New York. Like, you would imagine that there'd be some primetime opportunities, especially given the market and the schedule. Like, the Jets division itself is worthy of primetime. Then you factor in the non-division opponents, where
they got some sexy games.
Chiefs, Eagles, those are two high-powered opponents. Like, that, you could make a case for a lot
Cowboys,
of a lot of games. And like, I know the Browns didn't have the year that they probably wanted, but if the Browns end up being a good team in 2023 because they have a talented roster, like, to me, I wonder, is that like a game that could be primetime? It could be.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
I'm not saying it will be, but I do think that there are some non-division games that are absolutely worthy of. Jets-Giants alone is worthy
Yeah,
of
of course,
a
obviously,
primetime
yeah.
game. So I'm
All right.
excited to see what happens.
Yeah, Ethan, we're going to end here, but I need your honesty, okay? Boy Scout honor, okay, with this question I'm
Okay.
about to give you. I want your honest take on this one. This one was apparently, I didn't realize how polarizing it was until I sent it out into the universe. That's the power boy green, baby. That's what happens, okay? We got the viral golden Midas touch, okay? There's been some rumors, some speculation, Ethan, that the New York Jets and Hard Knocks are destined to happen. The four eligible teams: the Chicago Bears, the New Orleans Saints, the Washington Commanders, and then of course the New York Jets. And there's been some buzz that the Jets will be the team that's selected. And according to all the NFL people, if Hard Knocks chooses the Jets have absolutely no choice in the matter. But the question I want to ask you, Ethan, is that I put it out there, said, "Woo, let's run it back. Go get me a gosh darn snack." Like I'm like, yeah, baby, sign me up. More content for Jet fans. That's great. But I put it out into the universe, Ethan, and the response from Jet fans, 99%. We got hundreds of comments. They said, absolutely not. One Jets drive, baby. We don't want any of that Hard Knocks nonsense. That was fun like a decade ago. But what we want is one Jets drive. That's the only thing we want. So I ask you, Ethan, if Hard Knocks comes to town, I guess would one Jets drive still do their own thing and do all the awesome stuff they do? Would they kind of take a step back if Hard Knocks comes in? Well, I guess we'll start there.
Boy Scout honor. So this is like my hand on the Bible,
yeah.
right hand up.
Yeah. There we go. Beautiful. Great technique.
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But I would imagine that the boys would still want to cook.
Okay. I like that.
I don't know for sure how different it would look compared to other years, but I would imagine that the one Jets drive train would not stop. But I can't.
Does it warm your heart to hear that response from fans? I'm telling you, hundreds. I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your skirt here, Ethan. There are hundreds of people that immediately said, absolutely not, you dumb animal. And I'm like, oh, okay. Don't shoot the messenger here. I was just putting the post out.
Of course.
But yeah.
Of course it does. Yeah, because it's a testament to the work of the department. And you were talking about him earlier, Seth Bradley, among others. And it's been the evolution of One Jets Drive, covering the team from 2017 to present, to have the opportunity to make stories and tell stories about Aaron Rodgers and the 2023 New York Jets. I would imagine, like I said earlier, it excites everybody. So if you're responsible for One Jets Drive and you had to tell stories from 2017, 2020 was a tough year, obviously, for the Jets.
Yeah.
So when you're telling those stories, I would imagine you would want the opportunity to tell the 2023 story. So that's how I view it. And of course it warms your heart because it means that those guys in the back do a fantastic job, which they do. But it's also about the recognition. And yes, it is an Emmy Award winning series, but to have the fans have that kind of response is incredible. So yeah, I don't want to speak for those guys, but I'll do a little bit. Like we appreciate we appreciate it all. Like whenever you're coming to Jet stuff over something else, of course it's a token of appreciation. Absolutely.
And by the way, could you confirm that? I've heard that from the NFL, but Jet fans were still kind of combating against it. Maybe they just didn't want to hear it. If Hard Knocks says, "Hey, Jets, you're the one," which again, I would imagine with the other teams, no offense to the other teams. I mean, come on, people. I mean, look at the situation here that reportedly, according to the NFL, they can't say no. Is that true? If Hard Knocks says, Jets land, I want you?
To my knowledge, I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure. I've heard that if a team were to I've heard teams can volunteer.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't think that's really a thing. I don't think teams often go volunteer. Hey, why don't you come to our headquarters and put cameras everywhere and interview all our guys and blah, blah, blah. I don't really think that's a thing. Hard Knocks is an incredible production, but I don't think teams are, with open arms accepting it, at least in years past. Now, granted, I understand from a storytelling perspective why the Jets are appealing over the other teams. I guess we'll see what happens.
100%. And in closing, I just want to say to all the fans that don't want Hard Knocks, I think it's a distraction. If I check the old, could put the reading glasses on, the last time the Jets won Hard Knocks, I went to the AFC Championship game. Not too shabby. If that ultimately is what happens, that's a doorstep from the Super Bowl. So hey, just kind of sprinkling, throwing it out there. I love the one
Well
Jets
done.
drive people. I say why not both? But hey, more content for all of us. But hey, we'll see what happens here, Ethan. We'll see what happens, pal.
Yeah, I think it'll be exciting. Regardless of Hard Knocks or not, the
Yeah.
2023 Jets will be an exciting team to watch.
All right, Ethan, in closing, can you give us any teases of the stuff you guys have coming up? We saw Flight 2020 or Flight 23 rather. That looks exciting.
Mhm.
Is there anything else on the horizon? You could give us a few morsels, a few breadcrumbs in closing to kind of promote up the brand. The platform is yours, my friend.
I think Flight 23 is probably the biggest one. It's the one that requires the most front and back end work. And I would say other than that, like, we have a couple TV shows coming. We'll obviously have a training camp preview, and that's a couple months from now, but not really a whole lot. Like right now, I think we're getting our ducks in a row and for training camp, but I would just stay tuned because, of course, things are going to pop up and content's going to be great. Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
Yeah, there you go. Again, New York Jets Super Bowl contenders. Ethan may not be willing to say it, but I'm saying it, baby. Booyah! Let's get the Lombardis. Let's get the parade schedule. We are friggin' coming, baby. Oh, it feels good. It feels real damn good, Ethan, just to say that. Trying to get that on the chest. Flex on them a little bit.
Yeah, hey, I love how excited you are. I love how excited Jets fans are. And it's, buckle up, right? Like, it's going to be fun regardless.
100%. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Again, make sure you follow Ethan Greenberg both on Twitter and Instagram for his cooking videos and future, television show on the Food Network. We're looking forward to all that fun jazz coming up in the future. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.